Hi everybody, Denny here. This is the first attempt at doing a 10-minute video here on TikTok, so I don't know if it's going to let it happen or not, but we're going to give it a try, okay? If it doesn't work, then I will address this issue on our regular painting sessions. I received a question today about paintbrushes and how come certain paintbrushes are used and why they're used the way they are. So I thought I would just take this first video here and go over just the basic tenets of paintbrushes, the types of paintbrushes and why they're put together that way and which ones are preferred for certain uses. Okay, there are basically three types of paintbrushes. You have a natural hairbrush, and those are generally the most expensive when you get into an artist quality brush. Then you have the synthetic brushes, marketed a lot under the name or the title of Taklon. Okay, they are good brushes. And then you have combination brushes that have got some synthetic and it's got some natural hair in it. And they are purported to give you essentially the best of two worlds. Now, how true that is or how much marketing hype is, I really don't know. I've used them and I really can't tell a heck of a lot of difference between them. Okay, so we have a natural hair, we have synthetic or Taklon, and then we have a combination of synthetic and natural hair. Okay, that's point one. Now, why do certain artists use certain brushes? What is the difference? And one of the parts of the question was, how come oil painters like real stiff brushes, scratchy brushes? Well, this is one of my oil painting brushes, and this is made out of hog bristle. And it's a very stiff brush. Now, the reason oil paint artists prefer, for the vast majority of their brushes, to use a hog bristle brush or a very stiff brush is because oil paint by its very nature can be extremely stiff. Now, different brands have different degrees of stiffness. I've got some Winsor & Newton that it takes two hands to squeeze it out of the tube. Okay, you have to have a brush that has got some backbone to it in order to move that paint around. Okay, now a lot of times you'll see an artist dip their brush into something. They're dipping it into oil or to thinner in order to thin the paint down a little bit to get it to move better. Okay. And again, most oil paint artists prefer a stiff hog bristle brush and then a natural hairbrush to finish the painting off where they need real smooth paint. Okay. Now, how come some artists like to use a synthetic brush, a Taklon brush? Okay. Now, synthetic brushes are designed mainly for use by acrylic artists. The reason being is that by the very nature of the acrylics binder, which is corrosive, it will, over a period of time, destroy a natural hair brush. So if you've got a natural hair brush like this, which can cost upwards of $200-300, the last thing you want to do is to get that into an acrylic paint and have it destroy your brush over a period of time. Now, it's true that acrylic paint comes in heavy body and regular body, which is about the consistency of cold cream. The synthetic brushes come in different styles of snap or strength, and they can move that paint around just fine. They can also move oil paint okay as well. But acrylic brushes stay with the synthetics, and they will save you money over paint because the older ones don't have a bunch of what they call flags, and it doesn't hold as much paint as a natural hairbrush, so that even though you have to go to the paint pile more often with the Taklon brush, you will actually save paint over a period of time. And next comes the natural hairbrush, and these are the expensive brushes, really expensive brushes, because most of this hair is very carefully harvested, put together. It's soft, and watercolor artists love to use these because by the very nature of watercolor, it's transparent. and you're not laying down a bunch of brush marks, and you're not moving paint around like you would with oil paint to give an impasto look to your painting. So a watercolorist will, by and large, stick to a natural hair brush. Now, you can get a good synthetic brush, a good Taklon brush. They're nice and soft, that you can paint just fine with watercolor too. But again, the majority of watercolorists, after they get out of the beginning stages, will go with a good quality natural hair brush. And we're going to use all three of these brushes in our study on brushes so you can see how they operate. And one thing to understand, a watercolor artist will never dip his watercolor brush in an acrylic paint or certainly in an oil paint if he's ever intending to paint watercolor with it again, because the oil and everything else may not get it totally out of the hairs, and it can ruin your watercolor. Now, with that being said, a lot of oil painting artists will use a very, very soft natural hairbrush to finish their paintings, because it's not leaving lines, it's leaving a very smooth layer of paint that they may want for whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish. Now, the mixed hairbrush is just that. It has the quality of a Taklon brush not holding a lot of paint, and it has the quality of a natural hairbrush, making it even softer to be able to paint with. And the price ranges on all of the brushes are just almost off the clock, from a few dollars to hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And it's going to be what your pocketbook will allow. If I were to pick a particular style of brush for a beginner to get, I would say get a nice set of synthetic brushes, a nice set of Taklons, because they're going to be able to do the job no matter what medium you're using, okay? I hope this has answered your question. If I didn't, then ask me another one, hit the point that I may not have made, and we'll go from there. And be sure to join us now as we go on to our next group of lessons on actually how to manipulate the brush to get various effects. I've enjoyed this time. Hopefully this 10-minute video will play. And be sure to comment, like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think. And until then, my friend, paint on. And we'll see you in just a little bit with a regular lesson.